Oh dear. I have to say it's glad it's not raining at the moment, but it's been more than 24 hours of rain. There was a brief stop in yesterday when I was at Corfe Castle for a few hours, and now it's back to the grumpy weather. And of course the weather reports were all like, oh, initially like 1% chance of rain, and then it's like 20%, 30%, and it starts raining. So the weather reports lie. And I have to say, I've just done the most stupidest thing possible. And if I'd could evacuate from here, I would. But of course it's Friday, so I'm stuck here because no train strike, otherwise known as the train drivers weekend off plan, because it's, although I support workers and their actions are always on weekends, and they tend to attack the people who either work at weekend or are not weekday workers, and they're not doing the actions on the weekdays. I'm like, you don't really want anything to change, you just want a weekend off, don't you? But yeah, I was opening something with my penknife in my tent near my inflatable mattress, and you can guess what happened next. So luckily, or not luckily, because I think about fucking everything like a scout, which is why my pack's so fucking heavy. I do have a repair kit, but I only have 2 little things, and I've used one of them, so I hope that works. Otherwise I'm just going to abort and try and find a B&B or something, because it's been so oppressive with sitting in my tent in rain, and every day I've been delaying because morning, just absolute fucking downpour, and I get off late and I'm all achy and stuff from kind of basically being cold and wet and sitting in a tent, which is just not a good thing, where it's dry in my tent, but of course everywhere else is wet. I even found a slug in my rucksack because I left it in the awning, and I just sort of went to open it and just, to go and wash my hands. It's just, yeah, so there's been lots of things going wrong, but it's just the oppressive fucking weather. It's been like, ever since I got here 2 days ago, it's been mostly raining, about to rain. And I know the changeability of the weather around here. The weather systems do not conform to the usual changeability of the British weather. The systems are so local here that even the hyperlocal, I was trying one of the hyperlocal things called carrot weather things, which is quite funny because you can set it to communist or kind of your political persuasion, and then it's like ratings up to homicidal or just extreme. Of course I've got mine on extreme, and it insults you as a meat bag when you open it, and this is kind of like has this attitude. It's quite funny, but even that's like, nah, that confounds it. The systems are more than hyperlocal around here, and so when the weather says, oh, it's not raining, you look outside and it's pouring it down, or it's saying it's raining and it's just blasting the sunshine. So I knew that around Lulworth in this area it can be raining in Lulworth and blazing sunshine here, or vice versa. So I'm very aware of that. But yeah, the last couple of days have been oppressive and extreme, because usually it's like it will chuck it down for a few hours and then it stops, or it tries something else. The weather is on shuffle around here, so that's not helped. But I did get some work done at Corfe Castle yesterday. One of those will be seen as the artwork for this podcast. So yes, we have finally started with 4 pieces. I went into the castle itself for the first time ever. I Didn't last time. This time I have John's spare National Trust card, which is a bit naughty. But, you know, he's, I don't know how legal that is, but, you know, given what National Trust did to Hindhead, the cafe at Hindhead, and also what they did to Kinnan's Cove, fuck them. But because National Trust, that's a rant for another day. National Trust are not about conservancy. Well, they are, but what they'll do is they'll destroy local businesses with that obviously jobs in the local community and are using local produce, and then say, oh, they'll invent some reason that some kind of toad or newt is endangered, or that they're polluting the site, and it's like, well, fair enough, if a cafe or whatever or toilets are problems on a site of SSI, fair enough, but then they can install their own, and of course their own then farms in stuff from all around the country, so there isn't local produce in their cafes and tea rooms. Some, but not necessarily. Their shops farm in tap from China, so it's all like, yes, bullshit. So if them and English Heritage is what they did to Woodhenge. These they pretend to be charities caring about the environment, and they don't. They care about their business, and and it's all like, so they'll destroy local businesses to put their own. It's what, and Kinnan's Cove is the same. They closed down the local shop, and there was B&B which I stayed at. Very rudimentary. We're not talking about some kind of hyper hotel or whatever, but they closed that down. I don't know if they installed their own shop. They probably did, and they did that with Hindhead as well, and destroyed the local cafe and put in their own cafe. So it's all bullshit. So I'm left wondering what to do. Right. And yes, local bikers. I don't say hello. So yeah, I'm left wondering what to do. I'm going to head off to the coast today. Let's see if I can do some of the walk to Kimmeridge. I'm going to try and do it in steps. I was going to do, overnight and wild camp and stuff, but I realised yesterday how heavy, even just with my art stuff, how heavy this pack is. There's like no chance it would take me hours to do a mile, and that's what I was going to do that, but I think looking at where the buses go and everywhere goes, I probably am fine doing it in sections. Actually, I thought it was too remote, but as I've got a head start up to about Dancing Rock, Scratchy Bottom it was, and the is it Dancing Ledge and the Ledge, and that sort of area. So that's what I'm trying to head to today, and hopefully the weather will hold off. Corfe Castle's great. I did a technical drawing, not technical pen drawing, not technical drawing, and watercolour, which is probably what I'm going to use for the artwork for this. Obviously, as usual, I took pictures of before and after before I applied the watercolour. The picture of the watercolour one is a bit crap, actually. It's not. It's better than that. It's just how it is when I'm uploading and taking pictures out in the field. I'm always 50-50 about whether I should do that. I mean, I like to show people my progress, but actually the scanned pictures are way better. And it's a bit like, everyone's like, oh, I've seen that before. It's like, no, you haven't really, because you've seen a shitty camera phone version. But the idea is mobile blogging and mobile travel chisel, so we try and do that. But So you can see that on my Instagram, which is at finger trouble. You can see a lot of the photographs and things I've taken along the way, and you can see my past exploits at tjbaker.co.uk. If anyone is listening to this, well, there are a few people listening to this, I can see from the stats, but not many. But if you're not aware of those things, but yes, and I did a Lyra crayon drawing, and I did a ink piece, which I need to take a picture of as soon as I've got A, sunshine, and B, a dry area to put it on, because that's the problem. You know, it's okay at the moment, but it's very grumpy. It's not chucking it down, but it will. You know, I need a window where it's not where I've got a flat surface that isn't drenched. Things are drying now. My tent's drying. Unfortunately, I talked about the seam sealing. I did the seam sealing, and the bit I did that was the important bit dried in time. I put it rather thickly on the top of the posts because I was like, well, this is an area that could leak in future, even though it's sealed at the moment. That bit didn't dry. That bit's been rained on for days. I don't know how that'll affect the tent. That's not good. Seriously not good. It might make it less waterproof, I suppose. That's still tacky. That's not good because you're supposed to give it time to dry. So we shall see about that. And hopefully the drier day today will help. The problem is I'm camped under a tree, and so I'm just getting massive splats of water. Even if it stopped raining, I get rained on. So Q Travis says, why does it always rain on me? Because I'm camped under a tree. So yeah, it's going to take longer for that to dry. Annoyingly. It was the only place that was kind of away from all the grockles and the emmets with their big fuck off 4x4s and camper vans and screaming children. So, you know, it's a nice part away. And we have deer on the site. Although we've got a young deer, I don't know what the hell they're called, but also we have a doe who's very protective of her deer, and I think people have been feeding them because they're very tame. And so I got charged at by the doe for trying to take a picture of. I didn't get too close to the other one, but it was like, "Hello, you're supposed to be wild." I was banging on the fence, like, "No, you're not charging me." I threatened, I said, "You'll be shot," because yeah, unfortunately, that's why you should not feed wild deer, people, because they get a bit angsty when either you're not fed or you know that means that their young get too close to people, and then because I know better than to go anywhere near a young deer, because I know the mother will be somewhere near, but the young deer has been going near to my tent, so it's not a case of me going near the nature. The nature's coming next to me, and that's a problem because you know it's quite cute, but it's also I don't particularly want deer coming up and munching my food, which is currently outside my tent because I don't have space to put all my shit in my tent. Although, given what's happened with my backpack, I'm really am thinking of keeping things in the tent as much as possible, but then there's very little room to move inside the tent. So anyway, hopefully today's going to be better. The light's grumpy, but at least it's not pissing on me. And I'll speak to you soon.